He's just bragging me up right now.
What?
No. Except for the few times that he didn't listen to my directions of his driving.
Hang on, listen, wait.
No, I agree. You should always listen.
If I would have seen that text you sent me before I did,
Yeah. There was one point when we were doing yesterday. Cargos to camping, so I know she said she's going to get more. So are we doing the thing where we punch a Grad in the nose? Is that right? You get a punch for every birthday, so you get a punch for every birthday, you get 19 as the record. Or maybe just 20 if you're right.
all months.
You can tell us how that is for 10 weighted Mondays. Oh my gosh, I live right. Like, what's fired? She said fired. Should we move the weight from you? No, it's fine. I'm just here of fired. Did I tell you that Abby wants her guitar? She wants her guitar so much. I drop everything. Wait, which way did they curve? This way? And they curve their left leg? Yeah. And they just shot it back. Oh, wait, no, that was
Oh, Joe, I forgot to ask you, is that what you want that?
Yeah, that's fine. I'll probably just stand over here. Just made the executive decision to start recording.
That works.
You're like the back one. I keep thinking I'm going to put my phone fired. I will try it. I haven't really, it's fun Saturday, like, showcase Monday night. I would go to it right now.
Did the camera switch?
A little bit. Okay, I'll tell you when you can share it. I'm sorry. I was texting at like 11 p.m. on Monday, and I was going to send this
Okay, cool.
video to my like entire
Hey!
family.
You guys made it!
Yeah. Yeah. To my entire family. Oh.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
Pretty good, yeah. I know a couple more people are coming, seniors included, or former seniors, I guess is probably the way to say that. So We're going to stall for time a little bit. We'll do announcements real fast. First off, check in. Let me know you're here. I may or may not be doing gift cards as thank yous for the people who showed up the most over the year. So it helps to have objectable data to go back and be like, no, like they actually checked in. They were here. I know. So there's that. While you're checking in, which should be one of the 2 slides. Yeah, there we go. Just go to the website, check in. We've talked about it. We've waffled back and forth. We've determined what we do and don't want to teach, and we've opted to go ahead with starting our adulting classes. So,
I need those.
I know, right? Once a month, and that's the thing, like, I know a lot of high schoolers are interested in learning things that are not taught in high school, or things that their parents glossed over, or things that their parents taught them but yell at them if they don't do exactly their way, so it would be nice to have someone else show them a different way to do it. But the more I think about it, like, some college-age kids would benefit from adulting classes too. There's a lot of stuff that I didn't learn until after I got married, and that was after college. So I wouldn't be surprised if we ended up with young adults in the class as well. I wouldn't be surprised if we had like middle-aged adults who were like, you know what, I've never learned how to change a tire. I'm going to show up to your class. So whatever. We're aiming it towards high school students, but if someone else shows up, I'm not going to be mad about it. Shoot, if there's a middle school student who wants to learn how to change a tire, let them show up. I don't care. The more they know, the better, right? So we're going to start offering our adulting classes right here, first Saturday of the month. That's this week. So I know that's short notice, but if people are interested, first Saturday of the month, if it ends up growing and getting to the point where like this is a really big thing that everyone wants to do, we can move to twice a month. I'm just not going to start with twice a month and burn myself out trying to do things. So adulting classes will be starting this Saturday, 1 to 4 p.m. Hopefully it does not take all 3 hours, but there's that much time if we need to spread subjects out. How you doing?
How are you?
Good, good. If we need to spread subjects out, and so our first subject is going to be budgeting and personal finance, how to keep track of what you earn, how to keep track of what you spend, how to invest for the future, all that kind of fun, happy stuff, so that you don't end up in debt like, what's the, like 90-some% of Americans?
Me.
Yeah. A scary number of people are in debt up to their eyeballs. And so how to avoid that, how to manage your finances, how to get out of it, so on and so forth. So I'm going to cover all of that. For some of these courses. But yeah, we'll see what happens. So, questions about the adulting classes? No? All right, moving on. Youth group t-shirts, don't forget we have them. If you can pay for them, awesome. If not, that's cool, just let me know, I'll get you a t-shirt. Tonight is going to be senior night, so in celebration of our seniors, we've got a cake. I grilled a bunch of steak and chicken earlier, grilled some veggies from Chuy's. We bought a sheet cake. We're having a party tonight in honor of our seniors. Two more things. Number one, the handprint wall. I've made this announcement online in the I don't know that anyone watches that, but it's there, just in case. So for years and years and years, in the old high school youth room, there was a wall where people would put their handprints, and it started out as like whenever you're a senior and you're graduating, you put your handprints as a lasting mark to show that you were here in the youth group. Over time, it looks like it kind of turned into anyone can put their handprint on the wall. Don't know how that happened. All I know is there was one handprint on there that's class of 2021. So who knows? Some of your handprints are on the wall. is what it is. The thing is, I vaguely hated the handprint wall, so we painted over it. And that sounds super selfish and super personal, but here's the thing. With the handprint wall, you can just grab it, it's okay. No one saw, you're good. Here's the thing with the handprint wall. It was full. 1 or 2 more handprints could have gotten on there without the help of a ladder. 5 more sets of handprints could have made it with a ladder. The wall was full. And so the implication for a brand new person coming in for the first time is, oh, look at that cool wall with all those handprints. Lots of people have come through this church. Is there room for me? I'm never going to be part of the handprint wall because there's no room left. And that's not okay for anyone to think. If one person has to wonder if there's room for them in this youth group or room for them in the legacy of this youth group, that's one too many. I'm not cool with that. We painted over it. Made a lot of people mad. I kind of don't care. I did go through and take 129 pictures of every single handprint on the wall. And then I took 6 pictures of zones of the wall. And then I took 2 pictures of various zoom levels for the entire wall itself. And it has taken a long time to stitch those together in Photoshop. But as of right now, if you or your family have someone on that wall that you care about and you are upset that I painted over the handprint wall, that's cool, whatever. lotwchurch.org/handprint will take you straight to the high-res, full-quality It's all there now and forevermore. Eventually I'd like to get a poster made that is less snarky than I'm being right now and say something about like, oh, look at the history of our church, and then it's on a poster, and then, you know, we don't lose any quality. It's not fuzzy or gross there, and that poster can be reprinted as well. But handprint wall lives in our memories online. So there's that. And lastly, we're going to start tonight with worship. Usually we sort of go, you know, the message and small groups happens first, and then we do worship at the end of the night for a couple of reasons. Number one, the middle school usually joins us for worship, and the way that their night is structured, it kind of works best to let them go through their games and activities and things that they need to do to entertain small children, and then come in for worship at the end of the night. Number two, historically, statistically, high schoolers and middle schoolers tend to like worship less than they like games and activities and messages. So whenever, I guess 3 times, this church has put worship at the beginning of the youth night and then the rest of stuff through the end. And every time that happens, attendance for worship drops at least 50%. People will skip worship. They don't care if they're late for That's probably bad. I can't fix that. But tonight, you're all here. Middle school's not, so we don't have to work around their schedule. Let's open with worship. We'll get into what we're going to talk about tonight, which is going to be very, very short, I hope. And then we'll party. Sound good? Mm-hmm. All right. Very last thing. As we get into worship, you may notice there's a creepy old man sitting on the couch over here. His name is EJ. He played drums for us in church on Sunday. He is one of my oldest and dearest friends. He is 19 days old. He has been the I can't say high school youth group, but that's my vernacular now that I'm down here. The youth group back in West Virginia was combined, middle and high school together. He has been the youth group drummer since we were 19 years old. I've played with this guy for ages and ages and ages. He's super talented. He is the media director of Horizons Church, all 6 campuses. So he makes all of their videos and graphics. He is the co-leader of one of their youth groups at one of the other campuses. The guy is ridiculously talented, has tons of knowledge, and I'm just glad that of all the places he could have taken vacation and gone to all over the world, he chose here. So I'm going to use him. So, come on up, BJ.
Do it.
For the second time in a long time. That's Jan.
I like to hit things. Hi, how are you?
I didn't tune.
It's okay.
Oh,
We're gonna see what happens. You want cheese now?
okay, so what's the problem? Sorry.
Let love explode. Let love explode and bring the dead to life. Love so bring a revolution somehow. Let love explode and bring the dead to life. A love so bold to see a revolution somehow. Now I'm lost in your freedom. In this world I'll overcome. My God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. My God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. Let hope arise and make the darkness hide. My faith is dead, I need a resurrection somehow. Now I'm lost in your freedom. In this world I'll overcome. My God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. My God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. My God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. My God's not dead, he's surely alive. Like a lion. Let heaven roar and fire fall. Come shake the ground with the sound of revival. Let heaven roar, fire fall. Come shake the ground with the sound of revival. Let heaven roar, fire fall. Come shake the ground with the sound of revival. Let heaven roar, fire fall. Come shake the ground with the sound of revival. My God, he's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. My God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. My God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. Amen. Whew, I'm a tune before we continue.
Okay, that's
It's nice to have more than guitar again.
It's so nice to have more than just guitar.
I'll see myself out.
Just loosen up after the last one.
I agree.
Turn your ear to heaven. Hear the noise inside. The sound of angels call. The sound of angel songs. And all this for our King. We could join and sing. All to Christ the King. How constant, how divine. This song of ours will rise. Oh, how constant, how divine. This love of ours will rise. Will rise. Oh, praise Him. Oh, praise Him. He is holy. He is holy. Yeah. Turn, gaze to heaven. Praise, joyous noise. Yeah, the sound of salvation comes. It's the sound of the rescued ones, and all is for our King. Angels join to sing, all for Christ the King. Oh, praise Him. Oh, praise Him. He is holy. He is holy. Yeah. Oh, praise Him. Oh, praise Him. He is holy. He is holy. Yeah. Oh, praise Him. Oh, praise Him. He is holy. He is holy. How infinite and sweet. This love so rescuing. Oh, how infinitely sweet. This great love that has redeemed. As one we sing. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. You are holy. You are holy. Yeah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. You are holy. You are holy. I'm full of earth. You are heaven's worth. I am stained with dirt, prone to depravity. You are everything that is bright and clean. The antonym of me. You are divinity. A certain sign of grace was this. From the broken earth, flowers come up, pushing through the dirt. You are holy, holy, holy. All heaven cries holy, holy God. grace was this, that from wounded hands redemption fell down, liberating man. You are holy, holy, holy. All heaven cries holy, holy God. You are holy, holy, holy. I wanna be holy like you are. But the harder I try, the more clearly can I feel the depth of our fall and the weight of it all. And so this might be the most impossible thing. You grant this in me, making me claim glory, hallelujah, glory, glory, hallelujah. You are holy, holy, holy. All heaven cries holy, holy God. You are holy, holy, holy. I wanna be holy like you are. So here I am, all of me, finally, everything holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, 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 yours. I am wholly yours. I am full of earth and dirt and you. One more song tonight. Oldie but goodie. You are the source of life, and I can't be left behind. No one else will do. I will take hold of you, 'cause I need you, Jesus, to come to my rescue. Where else can I go? There's no other name by which I am saved. Capture me with grace, I will follow you. I will follow you. Good source. You are the source of life. I can't be left behind. No one else will do. Nurture me with grace, I will follow you. I will follow you. This one has nothing for me. I will follow you. This one has nothing for me. I will follow you. This one has nothing for me. God, you're amazing. And truth be told, there's nothing in this world that compares to who you are, to what you have to offer. Teach us more of our lives that way. In the name of Christ Jesus we pray. Amen. Amen. Thank you, EJ.
Thank you. Joe, is it?
I go by Bob now.
Bob.
It's going to be a good night. The message tonight is entirely unplanned. What I want to do tonight is hear very briefly from our seniors. Where are you going? What you doing? What's your plan? And then we're just going to talk a little bit about life post high school and what that looks
I'm going to Texas Tech University in the fall. I'm going to probably major in business, if not, become a teacher and do sports. And that's basically it.
very cool. You got a very Matthew McConaughey vibe going on. Like if you said, all right, I'd be like, he's in that movie. Nice to meet you, Austin.
Nice to meet you too, sir.
I'm Jaden. I'm going to Sam Houston State and I'm going to be majoring in Homeland Security Studies and doing a minor in forensic science.
Very cool.
Did you say British science?
Not forensic science.
I thought he said British science too.
I'm Catherine, and I'm going to Concordia University in Austin, Texas, and I'm going to be in the DC program, which is Director of Christian Education, but I have no idea what I'm going to do.
That's fair.
You could direct Christian education.
Yeah.
I can answer the points, right?
There's like a bunch of different specializations that you can choose. Like
Oh,
anything,
That's
yeah.
like, that requires math.
Yeah, DCEs are really cool. I can't remember if technically we're supposed to have one at our church or not, so I'm not going to say it, especially not on a live stream. So, let's turn that back around. So we used to have a DCE here, like as a Lutheran church, who oversaw all of the direction of all of the ministries and who's teaching what and how does it plug into the LCMS doctrine and all of that fun, happy stuff. And whoops. So, I'm just going to keep spinning this around all night, so ignore it. So we talked earlier about the handprint wall. And it's a spot for me. It's a spot for me because, like I said, I really care about psychologists, psychiatrists are all showing massive improvements in the rates of depression, rates of suicidal ideation, rates of social anxiety, like all of these things. Mental health problems are skyrocketing, and we don't know if that's because actual mental health problems are skyrocketing or if it's always been this bad and now people are just feeling more safe to talk about. And if I have an opportunity to fix that by having an open door youth group, by having dinner, by having a time that we can get together and talk freely, safely, if we can worship together, if we can seek God together, because I firmly believe that this whole world is just a part of the spiritual reality that lasts forever. And when our lives here are over, we move on to what is actually real behind the curtain of mortal life. So investing our time in those things that last forever is way more important than developing anything else in life. So if I can provide a safe place to do that, stay depressed for 7 days at a time. If there's at least one highlight in someone's week, one awesome place to go, then I'm going to offer that. Unfortunately, statistically, it's not always working. 70% of teenagers who grow up in church and go off to college fall away from faith in their college years. I'm not saying that's going to I was telling EJ about the handprint wall because clearly he wasn't here for it. And we had a quick discussion, and I'm not going to ask you to recite exactly what you said.
I can.
But we talked about all of the years that we've done youth ministry together. Every single year, you end up graduating out someone. Especially in a youth group like ours of 60 plus kids every Wednesday night. Some years you only graduate out a couple people. Some years it feels like all of your core group of people who have been super close and really driving the ministry and everything, they're all gone. That kind of feels like this year for me. But EJ, what's it like losing a group of seniors? What do we see happen time after time after time?
Man, so like Joe said, we've been doing this for a long time. I myself have been in this game for about 15 years now. And just, they're in some way, form or another plugged into the youth group. And it's great, it's awesome. You know, we love having you guys part of what we're doing, man. You guys become something that we look forward to every week. Spending time with you guys, watching you grow, watching you learn. And then, you guys graduate and for some of you, we never hear from you again. For some of you, you go on and do meaningful things. But for some of you, you don't even make it to senior year. Like you're gone for some reason or other before you can get to that point. And I was, like just said, we were talking about, I have sort of my own version of the handprint wall in West Virginia called the sign-in sheet. And I think you guys had something similar for a while. Your picture with a name, and then you highlight your name to check in. And after a while, you start to notice that there are a lot of pictures on there that you haven't seen the face for a very, very long time, and you wonder what's going on, and you try to check up, and you don't hear back, and years later, and you're just like, hey, I haven't seen you forever. I'm an atheist. You know, I don't believe in that stuff anymore. And it's like, what happened? You know, like I thought I was watching you grow. What happened? And then there's a bunch of different circumstances that lead to that. I didn't want to go there, but like, take a look. If you, when you go onto the website and you look at the picture of that wall, ask yourself, okay, if you recognize someone's name, ask, what's that person doing now? Like, serving the Lord in a church right now. How many of them have gone on to go into the mission field? How many of them have gone on to plant a church, go to Bible college? You know, how many have made disciples after they themselves have been discipled? I almost said make disciples of your own, but no, don't do that. Jesus and Jesus alone. I look at those pictures on my sign-in sheets, and I ask that question: what are they doing? And so, what people can see when they look at a wall like that or a sheet like that is, well, is there anyone for me? They can also look at that and say, like leaders can look at that and say, you know, what happened? Where is everybody? And that becomes a stark reminder, not just to leaders, but also people who know the people represented. They're just like, I didn't know that person came to church. That person does not live a life for Jesus in any way, shape, or forms, you know. And it becomes very discouraging to have those reminders of, so many reminders of people who, you know, you really tried to share the gospel with, you tried to share Jesus with. And you come to find out that they didn't do anything with it. And care if I read a scripture passage real quick?
No, it's not allowed in
See,
church.
here's the thing. I understand it's different denomination. All right, so actually, I'm just doing this as an opportunity to show this piece of tech off. But no, I'm kidding.
Switch cameras real quick.
Yeah. So what? All right. So Matthew chapter 13. Jesus is speaking to his disciples, and y'all know what a parable is, right? Y'all have talked about that. Okay, so
This is the high school group, BJ.
yeah. Listen, I just want to make sure that I know what I'm jumping into here. A sower went out to sow, and so he sowed. Some seeds fell along the path, and the birds came and devoured them. Other seeds fell on rocky ground, where they did not have much soil, and immediately they sprang up, since they had no depth of soil. But when the sun rose, they were scorched, and since they had no root, they withered away. Other seeds fell among thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked them. Other seeds fell on good soil and produced grain, some 100-fold, some 60, some 30. And then he finishes by saying, he who has ears, let him hear. He actually does something a little bit later that you don't always see Jesus do. Straight up explains Hear the parable of the sower. When anyone hears the word of the kingdom and does not understand it, the evil one comes and snatches away what has been sown in his heart. This is what was sown along the path. As for what was sown on rocky ground, this is the one who hears the word and immediately receives it with joy. Yet he who has no root in himself, but endures for a while, and when tribulation or persecution arises on account of the word, immediately he falls away. As for what was sown among thorns, this is the one who hears the word, but the cares of the world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and it proves unfruitful. As for what was sown on good soil, this is the one who hears the word and understands it. He indeed bears fruit and yields. In one case 100-fold, in another 60, in another. So youth leaders don't like that particular parable very much, because it kind of serves as a reminder to us that when we come up every week and we prepare our lessons and we lead you guys in worship and we try to give you every resource we can find to help you grow in your faith, we've got at best a 25% chance of helping you grow into a maturing, maybe not mature fully, but mature, because that takes a whole lifetime, but a maturing disciple of Christ who is seeking after the ways of God as a way of life. That's hard for us. So those of you who are getting ready to graduate, well, you have graduated and you're moving on, that's always hard because, you know, we are now in what I call the 11th hour. Like, this is our last opportunity to tell you the life-saving gospel of Jesus in the hopes that you have prepared, that you have been able to prepare, and we've been able to help you prepare the soil of your heart over however many years you've been a part of this ministry to receive the seed, to receive the word, and to have it take root in the soil of your heart so that it can grow and produce fruit. We realize this is our last opportunity to help you do that before you move on. So this is the point where you need to make some decisions. You need to make, you know, a decision of what are you going to do to cultivate the soil of your, y'all into farming? Anybody? Is that a thing around here? I don't know. But yeah, if I say cultivate the soil, y'all know what I'm talking about though, right? So, you know, you cultivate, you need to make a decision on how you're going to continue to cultivate the soil of your heart so that it can receive the word, take root, and grow. Because if you have not done that yet, you should start. Because if you don't do that, then when the seed of the word of God falls onto your heart, either our enemy, the devil, sweeps in, will take it away, and nothing will happen, or it'll start growing. Like, you know, the nutrients aren't really there, but like the sunlight, and just you'll shoot up and everything will be all exciting for a little while, and then bad stuff will start happening, and then you're out. Or yeah, it'll start kind of taking root, but there's other stuff there that's in the way, that's choking the root out, like weeds and stuff that, you know, hasn't been pulled, so it doesn't get the roots can't get real deep because everything is choked out, and then everything dies. You got a 1 in 4 chance of having soil that can take root and produce fruit and really see growth from. That's really up to you as to who you are, and that's what we've been trying to help you do, and that's part of the reason why we get bummed out when we see reminders of how many of our friends, we consider you guys our friends in many ways, have come through this thing.
First year here, I started teaching high school youth group. I first set foot in Texas. Didn't lose a whole lot. Now I've known a lot of you guys for a couple years, and this one feels like a bit of a loss. Feels way more than it did before. I mean, back in West Virginia, I was just the worship guy. So I knew the kids, but it's not like I was super close with anyone. Now I'm still not used to being pastoral, you know, like I don't know. I feel like being a pastor is something you have to have a special degree for, and not really. It works with stuff, and every time he calls me for a tech question or anything else, is Pastor Joe, can I ask you a question? And I'm always Pastor Joe. That's my thing now. I know you guys. I love you guys. We just found out that a kid that graduated our youth group passed away this week. We just found out it was a drug overdose. And that's not the first time. And every time it happens, both of us are going, should I have hung out a little longer after youth and like just, hey, are you doing okay? Like would a deeper connection with that one person have changed something enough? What did I miss? Not that it's my fault, but could I have done better? Could I have done more? It hurts. I know kids from the old youth group who are becoming engaged with their same-sex partners now. I'm very certain about saying I hate gay people in any way, shape, or form. I'm saying this is not God's best plan for your life, and I want God's absolute best for you. And every time I see it, it hurts a little more, because how did I not make clear what God's best plan for you was? What did we miss? What did we not do enough of to help it stick? What rocks were in your life that we didn't dig out? What thorns in your life, what vines are going to come in and choke out your sunlight? Because we didn't weed well enough. We didn't say, hey, don't let this stuff take over. Sports, John's friends. What is this stuff that chokes out your faith that we didn't call out early enough? Over and over and over. And it's heartbreaking, and I desperately don't want that to be any of you. And so this kind of talk about the importance of continuing in your faith is what I wanted to do tonight. And this is why I didn't throw a special party just for the seniors. I want everyone to hear it. I was hoping our middle schoolers were going to move up and that they would have a chance to see some seniors moving on, but also see, like, no, it's time to dig in. It's time to get rid of the rocky soil. It's time to cut out the weeds. It's time to not let anyone sweep in and steal a seed. It's time to make changes, because my faith matters to me. One thing that I know I'm bad about is safety nets. I do not worry about doing something. There is zero urgency in my life. I will procrastinate hardcore on anything if there is a safety net for it. I love languages. I speak a moderate bit of French and Japanese. I can understand some Italian, some Spanish, some Latin, some Chinese, especially the bad words. Work in restaurants long enough, you'll learn what they're calling you. I'm fascinated by language. Oh yeah, Korean. I learned what some of the squares and some of the circles mean. I get really excited about languages. I have a pack of language learning materials that were made available online for free. Whether it was entirely legal at the time is questionable, so I didn't dig. It was free, so I grabbed it. You know how many of those languages I've learned? None. Because I have French right now. I can learn it anytime because I have it. There are credit cards that I'm not paying off as aggressively as I could because I know how much money I make, and so if I buy extra steaks this week in groceries, like, I know that the card is going to get paid off eventually. There's no urgency because I have the safety net. I know my budget. I know how much flex there is. If I only pay 800 instead of a of it is that it's never too late to come back to Christ. You can completely screw up your life in every way, shape, and form and come back and say, I've messed up, I really do need to turn things around. And you can do that. And you will be forgiven, and all your sins will be washed away, at least in the spiritual realm, although you're still going to have repercussions to deal with. It's never in the first place. Sin is not a safety net thing. Sin is a get rid of it now. God is not a safety net thing. God has made the world to work in a particular way, and He asks, in some ways very little, in some ways everything. Follow me. It's really very simple. But He made the world to work a certain way, and when you follow His plan and you support Him and you're chasing after Him, your life tends to unfold in the best possible way because you're part of the best possible plan. It's like if you knew that the Cowboys were going to win the Super Bowl this year and you had a chance to be on the Cowboys team. If you have the opportunity to be on the winning team and under the coach who's going to make all of the right calls and tell you to be in this place and run there and do this and do that, if you'll follow the directions, everything turns out okay. It's a cheat code for the universe. Follow Christ. Done. So why play 20 years on the Browns and hope to transfer later? It's the best sports analogy I've got. I'm not a sports person at all, clearly.
Amen.
Why plan on switching to the winning team later? Be the best you can be now. Get rid of distractions now. Because I'm telling you, especially you seniors, you're about to have so many opportunities to join fraternities, join sororities, join intramural sports teams, join official college sports teams, get involved in on-campus meetings. So many opportunities, and you're not going to have parents telling you you need to be home by 9. Like if you want to be out at the such and such thing until 11 or 1, you absolutely can do that. You have all the freedom in the world, and if you don't choose what is important and what you're going to do with your life, all these things are going to creep in and completely take over. So, before we wrap up,
Once we graduate and we aren't coming every Sunday, are we still a member of the church? That's a good question.
that is a good question. Yeah, so membership of Light of the World and membership of LCMS churches in general is kind of up to each individual church. So here, when you take a membership class and you sign up to be a member of Light of the World asks that you attend at least once a month, except in extenuating circumstances, like you're off at college, hours away, and you can't make it. But hey, if you want to come back over the summer, you know, we're fairly flexible with that. Some churches are very, very tight and insistent on membership requirements, and so you can only take certain classes or you can only attend certain groups or whatever if you're a member. And so you need to sign up for membership at this church in order to receive these benefits, but they cannot sign you up if you're registered as a member of another LCMS church. Personally, I think secretaries just have way too much time on their hands and they're gatekeeping, and that's annoying. So usually, as far as we're concerned, if you sign up to be a member, if you don't rescind your membership, you're still a member. Now, if we don't see you for like 5 years, we're probably going to take you off the roster. Yeah, but so it all depends on what the church is planning on doing with membership.
And hey Joe,
Yeah.
membership wise, doesn't it like not give you anything? Like isn't the only reason to be a member is if you want to be on like the council? That's what I remember from my membership class. Because you can join any of the bodies, any of the groups.
Like, oh look, shiny toy. We're gonna spend $3,000 that's not in the budget so we can buy this brand new shiny toy thing. Like we have a board of directors that we go to say, hey, this is not in the budget. We have this extra money from this thing. We think it would be wise to do this with it. What do you guys think? And the board of directors votes and they make decisions on the direction of the church and what we should do, what we shouldn't do. It keeps us in check so that we're not going around going crazy with it. Only members can vote for who's on the board. Only members can apply for the board. If we decided to do, we would email all of the members of the church to let them vote as a whole. Hey, as a church, should we allow this or should we ban it, so on and so forth. So membership is kind of that. It's like citizenship.
Yeah.
Mexicans don't vote here.
Mexicans.
Mexicans.
Oh, question.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for looking for church at college? Like for another church?
Advice for looking at church in college. I have ideas. Let's start with you guys. What do you think?
I would say first thing that I would do is not necessarily look for a church outside of your college, but I have control of that, so no. But to look for ministry groups that meet at your school. So you can go ahead and join a ministry group and become like-minded with other people that are your age and other people that you'll share classes with, you'll share living space with. That's my first suggestion for doing that. I was lucky/unlucky enough that I went to school close enough that I could go back to my home church on Sunday. Kinda wish I hadn't done that. But my first suggestion is to look for something on campus that is a way that you can connect there.
Very good. EJ, what do you think?
College. People your age who are doing Bible studies and trips and stuff like that, so that you're able to kind of have that camaraderie, I guess is the word I'm looking for, with fellow believers who are in the school that you're at. If you have a lead, if you get a lead at any point in time on campus, while you're on campus, if you get a lead on a church that is doing something that is nearby that you would be interested in checking out, follow it up. Go visit one Sunday.
Check out their website.
Check out their website, see if they have one. They usually do. See if it's been updated this decade.
Basic beliefs.
If they've got if they've got a mission statement, if they've got a set of beliefs, statement of belief on their website, check it. See how closely it identifies with where you stand in your beliefs. But also try and maybe look at some sermons or two, a sermon or two. See how the pastor preaches. See what's most important to them. But really, yeah, I agree with the idea of focus on something on campus first. If you get a lead on something that's close by and you want to check it out, check it out. I would take someone if I could, you know, possibly from the. But don't go into it expecting that it's going to be a perfect experience. Give grace, because a lot of people are scared away from a church, visiting a church. They'll visit a church for the first time and they'll be scared away because, you know, not enough people, nobody greeted them on the way in. Now obviously they should, but like, you should be greeted, you should be made to feel welcome at any church you visit. But give grace, you know, consider the possibilities, and really do everything that you can to be, to keep your eyes open going into the experience as far as what's perceived, or you're not being lured into something that isn't really Christianity. Because that's out there.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. For adults, I would say the biggest thing is look at what the church is doing. Does it line up with what you care about? Is this something you're passionate about? Go, plug in. But maybe more importantly than that, if you're a solid, mature Christian, relatively stable in life, find a church that doesn't have what you are excited about and what you're passionate about. Go there, check out the church, kind of get a feel for them, and see if this is something that you might be able to help start up and get going in this church. I would not make that recommendation for college. If you are super excited about serving the homeless, find a church that does that. Make sure they're not teaching heresy and go give it a shot. Plug in and do something that you're excited to do. Be the biggest thing. So that you can continue to grow well. Especially if that church has a young adult ministry, a college age ministry. Plug in there. So, yeah, find a place that cares about what you care about, or is passionate about what you're passionate about. What other questions for adults do you have?
Yeah, you said the adulting workshop, is that, that's this Saturday, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, what time?
1 to 4.
Budgeting?
Yeah, this week is budgeting and personal finance.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, or I should say this month. Invite your friends.
It's a long time to talk about budgeting. I was thinking about it.
Yeah, can you teach us how to write a check?
Whoa.
You don't know how to check?
I mean, hey, it's under personal finance, so.
I did it once in 5th grade, and they never taught us again.
Yeah, I
I
learned
mean, you
before
just
grade.
look up online how to write a check.
I think
I
so.
mean, you can, but
It says what you're supposed to write in each spot.
It's like 5 lines of different. Yeah.
It says date, it says name.
I'm just
it says
trying to, you know what, we have Venmo now, what's the point of it?
Amen.
Apple Pay, like, you don't gotta do.
I mean, I'll definitely include it in Sunday's or Saturday's workshop.
Just how to
I just call
Yeah.
it
do
beatbox.
things.
It'll take 5 minutes to go over it and then include little things like, hey, you know how the date at the top of the check tells you when the check is actually valid? No. Because some people do something called post-dating a check. Because I know I'm getting paid on Friday, so here's a check dated for Saturday. I'll give you this, and then once the money is in my account, you can go do this check. As soon as you sign that check, it's legal.
When should we like buy our own checks? when you have to pay for
I'll tell you Saturday.
Well,
No,
I have a question for like my job or whatever. Like they need proof that of my bank, and it's like a voided check.
Yep.
But I don't have them.
Most banks have a direct deposit form online with a copy of a voided check, because what they need is your routing number and your account number. Routing number is, hey, where in the US is this bank and what bank is it? Like 051900366 is the routing number for Eastern West Virginia JP Morgan Chase banks.
How do you know that by memory?
Yeah, what?
Routing number, and I worked there for 3 years.
Cool, now do your account number.
721. I do have it memorized though.
I like.
Yeah. No, so routing number is totally public. Like you can Google, hey, Fort Worth, Texas, US bank routing number, and you'll find it, because that's just in the banking system, what bank is this and where is it located? So they need your routing number for what bank is the money going to, and then they need your account number for what account at the bank is it. So at the bottom of a personal check, between the weird dots and lines, the first set of numbers is usually your account number itself. After that is the routing number. Some banks switch that, which is super annoying. But then there'll be other weird symbols, and then it will usually be your routing number, then more weird symbols, and then the check number itself. So when they run, and for just extra fun, all of those are printed with special magnetic ink, so that even if the front rubs off a little bit, they can run them through check scanners, and the scanners will pick up the magnetic bits. Of that. But like I know at Chase, you can go online and say direct deposit form, and it will print a form with a picture of a voided check with the routing number and account number on it, and you sign at the bottom.
I don't have that bank, so.
If I may, you can also order them like from Walmart's website. You can put all that information in, and you can select a check design. It's super cheap. They'll send you like a whole bunch of them. When 2016, I moved into the house that I'm living in right now, and I hadn't written a check in years. So I ordered a bunch of checks, and I still haven't got through all of them yet. Like super, I think I spent like $15 for like 12 books.
But then it's also the fastest way to commit fraud. Because every time you hand someone a check, that account number at the bottom. So you could receive a check and go to Walmart.com and order a bunch of checks with this routing number and account number on them.
I did that too.
And
We're still live.
yeah, super unsafe. Checks are the least secure way to move money around, because you're literally handing someone your actual account information every single time you give them a check. Such an outdated method.
Yeah, Venmo's better.
And if you don't like it, fax your bank about it. Adults, this is fun. My wife and I came up with a list of the adulting classes, things that we are excited to teach on, things that we are qualified to teach on, things that we are not qualified to teach on, but we can find someone who's really good at explaining this kind of stuff. Like, I know how to change on a car, but I'm not good at explaining all of it. I'm more like, okay, so you get the thing with the hexagon, and you put it on like the bolt thing, whatever that is, on the and you twist left. No, it's counterclock. I'm gonna just get a burly dude at the church.
Yeah.
Straight up, like we have.
We need that.
Yeah, I'll get like 3 burly dudes from the church who can explain how to change a tire. So how to change a tire will be one of the things. What are you interested in learning? Straight from you guys. What do you want to have adulting classes on?
I don't know how to apply for a loan, and I need to do that like right now. I need to do that like right now. So if you can teach me in the next 15 minutes.
And I'll also cover it Saturday.
Yeah, I can wait till Saturday.
What do you want to learn?
Well, like I've always been interested in. So, like, if you start selling a product, at what point does it become a business which you get taxed on?
$20,000, I think
It's
so, right?
10,000 is max, like the minimum where they start taxing.
Yes.
That's gross.
According to the Small Business Bureau, $10,000 in sales. According to the IRS, as soon as you sell a single thing and you receive money, you should pay tax. And you're trying to side. Like, don't go into any internal aisles.
Oh.
Because that's where your bread, your milk, your meat, your vegetables, always going to be the outsides of the store.
Yeah, I'm like allergic to everything, so I should probably. Cookies are gonna get out.
Be aware of that, yeah.
Oh, like 7 things.
What else do you want to learn?
Where do babies come from?
I have a pink pen. Why wouldn't I?
I want to know what weekend that one is, and I will not.
We had that shoe.
Oh my.
Anybody remember that?
Oh,
2 years in a row when you learn the same thing for 6 weeks.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
hey, all you
That's
guys,
a good time. That's fun.
all you guys who are here, what happened to Shufel? Where did he go?
Nebraska.
Ah, he used to be an orchestra teacher, right? So, okay, that's interesting.
Just Nebraska.
Why did he go to Nebraska?
Because
He wanted to be a speaker.
Oh,
He talks about bullying and
He's
stuff.
got
oh, for like motivational stuff?
Yeah.
Ah,
He's full-time with the motivational speaking stuff. He's actually signed with an agency that helps him book
Oh,
gigs
really?
and whatnot. So he is like 15 minutes away from the Omaha airport, which is also less than an hour away before they moved. I know, shoot. Right before they moved, they got pregnant with their third kid. And so they moved to Nebraska to be closer to an airport so that he can travel all over the country to do his speaking, and so that they have the family support for the kids.
well, that's good for them, huh?
Yeah, it's super good for them. We stay in touch on Facebook time to time.
How do you know him? Is it only through the church, or did you know him previously?
No, just through the church.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Actually, before I came down here, I was on the phone with him for like an hour and a half just asking tech questions about the way things are set up and everything. So then when I walked in, I was like, "You're the guy!" And he's like, "You're the guy!"
Oh,
Where did Eric go?
yeah.
Eric has been super busy. Like, wait, you mean tall Eric here or Eric drummer?
Adult helper.
Tall adult Eric helper here.
Art teacher.
Art teacher Eric is an art teacher in Southlake, and he has been super busy with online teaching stuff for a hot minute. He's been doing like private Zoom calls with all of his art students, and most of them tend to book from 6 to 9 p.m. on Wednesday nights for whatever reason, because rich people don't need Jesus.
It's a shame.
You know, I actually, every week when I send out the youth group text, I text him, and he's like, "I still can't make it this week, but I'm really excited to come back soon." So usually over the summer he travels a lot. So yeah, yeah.
What'd you say when you were?
I would say anything. If it involved you, I'd tell you.
Yeah, I heard that.
Burn.
All right, well,
I get to about loving siblings from my internship.
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but it's like in another country. So I go to like Europe to do artificial breaking
Yes.
and a mission trip. And I'm like, yes.
So we're going to end the live stream here with a quick prayer, and then
Real quick, I've actually got a question for you guys. Y'all know I'm not from here, obviously, but I keep seeing something on TV that I think is associated with Texas. What does this mean?
Oh, what's that one?
That's the one that TCU does whenever they play against UT.
We like this.
It's OU.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like,
It's bad.
Hey, no, UT doesn't. What are you talking about?
The
You got
mascot's from
UT, none
A&M.
of us did.
I mean, maybe, but you know, they're all state schools. No, man, UT is
Yeah, we
top
all
tier.
applied and none of us got accepted. Did you apply? Did you?
I would.
I went to UT Tyler.
Father God, thank you for a chance to be here, for a chance to chase you, a chance to grow, a chance to be rooted. God, we love you, we trust you. Help be with us as we plan futures, as we figure out what comes next. Be with us as we look at tomorrow and next week and next year. We know that you have a plan. We trust you in all things. Help us to continually not just submit to you like a slave, but to willingly come before you and say, what's the best next step, God? I want to be part of what you're doing. Thank you for all that you are doing.